The grass in your yard glistens with cold moisture. A feeder hangs motionless above the dark ground. The shrubs hold their shape against a blue-gray sky. Nothing seems awake yet. Then, a single sharp sound cuts through the silence. It lasts less than 1 second. The yard becomes quiet again. No wings flash across the fence. No bird crosses the open air. The horizon still holds no sunlight. A second call arrives from somewhere deeper in the trees, then another. Most people assume birds begin their day when the sun appears. The first light seems like a starting signal. The morning feels empty until then. But the morning has already begun. Many backyard birds start communicating 5 to 20 minutes before sunrise. Light levels remain low enough to make flight difficult. Yet small voices move through the darkness long before the first visible color reaches your yard. What sounds like silence may contain dozens of signals. Some of the earliest calls are not songs at all. They are brief contact notes. A bird announces its location. Another bird answers from cover. The exchange can last only a few seconds. You hear almost nothing. The birds hear everything. And once you notice those first quiet signals, the entire dawn chorus begins to sound like something very different. The morning chorus does not begin all at once. Your yard follows a timetable measured in minutes before sunrise. Different species wake at different moments. Each one enters the darkness on its own schedule. The first sounds often come from birds that never deliver a full song. Short calls appear while the sky remains dim. Other voices join later as light slowly increases. By sunrise, the performance seems sudden. It is not. The process has already been unfolding for 10, 15, or even 20 minutes. What appears to be a simple burst of birdsong is actually a sequence. Each call arrives at a specific time. Each species responds to changing light in its own way. By the end, those quiet sounds in your yard will lead somewhere much larger. They connect to patterns stretching hundreds of miles across a continent that is waking before the sun. Most people assume northern cardinals wait for daylight before communicating. The first song seems tied to the first sunlight. That is not what happens. Northern cardinals often begin calling 5 to 15 minutes before sunrise. These sounds are usually not full songs. They are short contact calls. Many birders describe them as sharp chip notes. Each call lasts less than 1 second. The bird may remain hidden inside dense branches. Light levels are still low. Open flight remains difficult. Yet communication has already started. That brief sound from your yard may carry a simple message. A cardinal near the top of a maple tree calls out. Another answers from deeper cover. The exchange can happen before you see a single red feather. Your feeder may still look empty. Your lawn may still appear asleep. The birds know otherwise. A winter night can last 14 hours. Even during warmer months, darkness often stretches close to 10 hours. Northern cardinals do not feed during most of that time. They spend the night conserving energy and avoiding predators. When morning approaches, location becomes important again. The first calls help solve that problem. One bird announces its position. Another bird confirms its own. A mated pair may reconnect after spending the night in separate roosting spots. Neighboring cardinals may also establish awareness of nearby birds before movement begins. The calls create a simple network of information across the landscape. Your yard becomes part of that network. A single tree may hold several birds. A hedgerow may hide others. Each short note adds another piece to the picture. What sounds random to human ears often serves a specific purpose. The birds are gathering information before the day starts. There is another layer to these calls. The message is not only about location. It is also about survival. Every response confirms that a bird made it through the night. After 10 to 14 hours without feeding, surviving until dawn matters. A returned call means another individual remains present. The local community becomes active again, one voice at a time. Long before the first cardinal song fills your yard, a quiet roll call has already taken place. And cardinals are not the only birds following a schedule hidden inside the darkness. Most people assume birds begin singing at roughly the same time. The dawn chorus sounds like a single event. It is not. American robins frequently start singing 20 to 30 minutes before sunrise. In many neighborhoods, they become active before most common backyard species. Their voices emerge while the horizon still appears dark. The familiar phrases drift across lawns, rooftops, and tree lines before the day seems ready to begin. The earliest singer is often already at work. If you listen from your yard before dawn, the first voice may come from a robin perched high above the ground. It may sit on a rooftop ridge. It may choose the upper branch of a tall oak. The song reaches your ears long before other birds join the chorus. What feels like the opening note of morning often belongs to a single species that woke earlier than the rest. The timing is not accidental. American robins possess strong, low-light vision compared to many backyard birds. They can remain active while the landscape still looks dim. That advantage allows them to begin singing when competitors remain mostly silent. The darkness gives them a temporary window of opportunity. They use it well. A singing robin advertises territory. The message carries across nearby yards and gardens. Other robins hear the announcement. Boundaries become clear before daylight brings increased activity. By the time the sun appears, important information has already been broadcast across the neighborhood. Your yard receives those messages every spring morning. The robin on one side of your street may be communicating with another several hundred feet away. A series of territories can stretch through multiple blocks. Each early song helps maintain order before the busiest hours of the day arrive. What sounds peaceful to you can represent active territorial communication among birds already preparing for the morning ahead. There is another reason this matters. The robin that sings first changes the timing of everyone around it. Once the earliest voices appear, other species gradually begin responding to increasing light. The dawn chorus builds layer by layer. What sounds like a sudden explosion of birdsong is actually a sequence that started much earlier. By the time your yard seems awake, the first robin may have been singing for nearly half an hour. And as more species join the chorus, another hidden pattern begins to emerge inside the growing sound. Most people assume birds wake up and immediately begin their day. Morning activity seems automatic and effortless. It is not. Many small songbirds face a serious energy challenge every night. Species such as black-capped chickadees, house finches, and white-throated sparrows spend hours without feeding. During cold conditions below 10 degrees Celsius, some small birds can lose up to 10% of their body weight before sunrise. Every hour of darkness consumes valuable energy reserves. The night is a test. When a bird arrives at your feeder after sunrise, you see only the final result. The hardest part has already happened. That bird survived 10 to 14 hours without food. It endured falling temperatures. It avoided predators while remaining largely inactive. By dawn, its energy budget may be running low. Your yard receives survivors every morning. A chickadee weighing only about 11 grams cannot waste energy carelessly. A house finch weighing around 20 grams faces similar limits. Every calorie matters. Every movement has a cost. Throughout the night, these birds balance heat conservation against the risk of running out of stored energy before morning arrives. That balance shapes behavior before sunrise. Early calling requires effort. Producing sounds may seem simple, but activity always consumes energy. A bird must have enough reserves to leave its roost, become alert, and begin communicating. Individuals in stronger physical condition often have greater freedom to become active earlier. Birds struggling with depleted reserves may remain quiet longer while conserving what little energy remains. The first calls can reveal more than location. They may also reflect readiness. A bird capable of early communication signals that it has made it through the night with enough energy to participate in the morning network. Each short note represents more than a sound. It represents successful survival through the most demanding hours of the day. Your feeder sits at the end of that journey. The cardinal calling before dawn. The robin singing from a rooftop. The finch arriving shortly after sunrise. Each bird has already passed through a period of darkness that humans rarely witness. By the time the morning chorus reaches full volume, dozens of small survival stories have already unfolded around your yard. And those individual stories become even more revealing when light itself begins controlling who speaks next and who remains silent. Most people assume birds sleep where they spend the day. A bird at your feeder seems like it belongs there full time. It does not. Many backyard birds roost in different locations from where they feed. Species such as house sparrows, northern mockingbirds, and American goldfinches often choose dense cover for the night. Some travel 50 meters before breakfast. Others may move 500 meters or more before reaching feeding areas. The routes remain largely invisible because they happen in dim light. The neighborhood is already moving before sunrise. The first bird at your feeder may not have spent the night anywhere near it. It may have roosted inside a thick evergreen several streets away. It may have sheltered within a dense hedge at the edge of a park. Before you step outside, that bird may already be traveling toward familiar feeding locations. Your yard is one destination among many. Dense vegetation offers protection during darkness. Thick branches reduce exposure to wind. Concealed roosts lower the risk of detection by predators. Feeding sites provide different benefits. Open lawns reveal insects. Feeders offer seeds. Fruit trees supply seasonal food. Birds often separate these needs across different parts of the landscape. The journey between them creates a daily traffic pattern. Short calls become useful during these movements. Birds maintain awareness of nearby individuals while traveling through low-light conditions. A contact call from one tree can receive an answer from another. Information spreads through the landscape as birds leave shelter and move toward resources. Your yard may hear these travelers before it sees them. The cardinal calling from a fence line may have arrived only minutes earlier. A goldfinch landing on your feeder may have crossed several backyards before sunrise. The robin singing from a rooftop may be announcing itself after completing a routine movement through the neighborhood. What appears to be a collection of local birds can actually represent individuals arriving from multiple directions. There is a larger implication hidden inside this pattern. Birds do not experience your yard as a complete world. They experience it as one useful location within a connected network. Shelter exists in one place. Water exists somewhere else. Reliable food may exist several hundred meters away. Daily survival depends on linking those resources together through repeated movement. Your yard becomes one piece of a much larger map. And once those hidden routes begin connecting across neighborhoods, an even broader pattern starts to emerge across entire regions. Most people assume pre-sunrise bird sounds are mainly about singing. The chorus seems focused on broadcasting messages. That is only part of the story. Some birds spend several minutes listening before making a single sound. Carolina wrens often remain hidden while monitoring the acoustic landscape around them. Before calling, they may gather information from dozens of nearby sounds. Every note from another bird provides useful data. Every period of silence matters as well. The morning begins with observation. A Carolina wren may sit inside dense shrubs before dawn. It stays concealed among branches only a few feet above the ground. During this time, the bird listens for neighboring wrens. It listens for movement. It listens for warning calls. It listens for changes in the environment before deciding how to respond. Your yard may contain these silent observers every morning. The shrubs beside your fence can hide birds that have already been awake for several minutes. You hear nothing from them. Yet they may already know which cardinals are nearby. They may know where robins have started singing. They may even detect potential threats before becoming visible themselves. Information arrives through sound. A single alarm call can change behavior instantly. A distant response from another wren can reveal territorial boundaries. The absence of familiar sounds can also matter. Birds constantly evaluate these details while deciding where to move, feed, and communicate. The process happens quickly, but it shapes the entire morning. Your yard functions like an information network. Every species contributes pieces of knowledge. Contact calls reveal locations. Songs reveal territory. Alarm calls reveal danger. Silence can reveal uncertainty. Birds collect these signals before committing energy to movement across open spaces. Listening first often reduces risk. There is a deeper reason this behavior matters. Dawn provides one of the richest information windows of the day. Many birds become active within a period of 20 to 30 minutes. New sounds appear from every direction. Conditions change rapidly as light increases. A bird that gathers information early can make better decisions about feeding, travel, and territory. The first minutes after waking are not only about communication, they are also about intelligence gathering. Hidden inside your shrubs, trees, and hedges, birds are assembling a picture of the world before most people have poured their first cup of coffee. And when those countless local decisions combine across thousands of yards, they reveal a pattern far larger than any single neighborhood. Most people assume the sounds before sunrise belong only to their neighborhood. A few birds seem to wake near a few homes. The scale is far larger. In your yard, a cardinal may exchange calls across 20 meters. A robin may sing from a rooftop 50 meters away. A wren may listen from shrubs along a fence line. The distances seem small. The activity feels local. Yet the same process is unfolding beyond your property. Across a neighborhood, hundreds of birds begin moving between roosting sites and feeding areas. Some travel 100 meters. Others travel 500 meters. Contact calls spread through trees, hedges, parks, and backyards. Each bird gathers information. Each bird responds to changing light. The pattern repeats from one street to the next. The entire region begins waking together. At a larger scale, those neighborhoods connect to landscapes stretching hundreds of kilometers. Forest edges link to suburban yards. Wetlands connect with fields and river corridors. Migratory species use routes extending 500 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers, or more during different seasons. The birds visiting your feeder belong to systems much larger than your block. Your yard sits inside those systems every day. Then the scale expands again. Sunrise does not arrive everywhere at once. The edge of daylight moves steadily across the continent. As dawn reaches one location, birds begin calling. Minutes later, the same process starts farther west, then farther west again. The sequence continues hour after hour. The dawn chorus becomes a moving wave. Across North America, more than 1 billion birds may begin daily communication, movement, territory checks, and feeding activity as daylight advances. Cardinals call, robins sing, wrens listen. Countless other species perform their own versions of the same ritual. Each population responds to local conditions, yet all are tied to the same approaching light. The signal never stands still. It rolls across thousands of kilometers. It crosses forests, grasslands, mountains, farms, suburbs, and cities. The sounds change from place to place. The species change. The habitats change. The underlying pattern remains. Birds wake before the sun fully arrives. What began as a single chip note in your yard now appears differently. That sound was never isolated. It was one small part of a biological wave moving across an entire continent. The cardinal calling from your tree follows the same daily rhythm as birds hundreds and thousands of kilometers away. The quiet minutes before sunrise are not the beginning of one backyard morning. They are the leading edge of an ancient continental conversation that sweeps across North America with every dawn. Tomorrow morning, your yard may sound different. The silence before sunrise may no longer feel empty. A single chip note may reveal survival after a long night. A distant song may reveal territory already claimed. Hidden listeners may be gathering information before the day begins. Sunrise does not start the bird's day. Much of it is already underway. The ordinary sounds of dawn become evidence of communication, planning, movement, and connection stretching far beyond your fence line. Once you hear those first quiet voices, it becomes difficult to hear morning the same way again. Tell me in the comments, what was the earliest bird sound you ever noticed before sunrise, and where did you hear it?